Hey guys, Charles from Haltz Boots here, and today I'm doing my top 5 speed boots of 2023 so far. And now it's time to jump into number 5 on our list, the Puma Ultra Ultimate. So the Puma Ultra just squeaked in on this list. It wasn't really a boot that I was really too fond of. However, it was better than any Nike boot I've worn so far this year. And actually on this list, there's no Nike boots. But I did really like this neutral sole plate here. And if you zoom in, you see we kind of have these like weird triangular shaped studs almost. And it just provided enough grip and traction to allow you to really move around on a pitch, especially like a turf pitch, but also not enough. And the studs aren't long enough to really catch or have any sort of issues when you're wearing these on turf. And to be fair, I only did wear these on turf. It was too cold outside and there was no real grass fields open with all the snow when I was testing these out. So it's a little bit of a biased feel, but I did like the sole plate a lot. And I was also a fan of this upper. It's called the Ultra Weave. And it is a little plasticky. It reminds me of the new Crazy Fast almost, but it feels a bit more soft and a little bit more comfortable. It did really hug your foot well. But an issue I had was that, it just really doesn't help wide feet that much. And having wide feet and trying to wear these was a little bit of a struggle. And I don't know if I properly was able to break these in because I only wore them for like a week and a half before I moved on to the next review. So again, I didn't get the best view there, but I didn't mind these boots overall. Now these boots are also lightweight, but when you wear lightweight boots, you also get an issue of durability. And oftentimes if you really go for lightweight boots, you're really just gonna sacrifice durability. And if you can see here, if the camera focuses at all, there's just a ton of sole separation right there. And that was really a bummer for a pair of boots I maybe had 8 to 10 hours in. So if you're looking to get the Puma Ultra Ultimates, just be aware that, the durability is not the greatest. I do rate the upper, and if you have wide feet, maybe skip this one. Now, number 4 on this list is the Adidas Crazy Fast 0.1 LL. The Crazy Fast LL runs about $270, which is $10 to $20 more expensive than the laced version. And that's kind of weird because to me, it seems like to make lace boots, it would cost more to punch all the holes and run the laces through, but what do I know? I just review boots. But I actually did rate these. I was not a huge fan of the laced version of the Crazy Fast, but for some reason, I really enjoyed the laceless. Now, I don't know if it has to do with the upper not having laces, but it was super comfortable, way better than the 0.1 laced version, and I just felt really connected to the ball. Anytime I laced a shot, hit a pass, I had no issues. And usually when I wear X models, especially the Speed Portal and the Crazy Fast 0.1 laced, I always just have issues where I feel like I can't get the ball from under my feet, I can't do anything right, like the touch feels off, but for some reason that was not a problem with these. And these boots do have the Speed Frame sole plate. It's a sole plate I've been testing out a lot lately. This pair I wore solely on grass and I had no issues. And I've worn other pairs with this sole plate on turf and they've had no issues as well. So if you're looking for a sole plate on a pair of boots that you can wear on turf or on grass, I would definitely recommend something with this sole plate or even the Crazy Fast 0.1 LL. The main 2 issues I had were lockdown wasn't the best, but when you go for laceless boots, you're kind of trading up a little bit of lockdown, in my opinion, for a little bit more comfortability. And I was often getting pains down here in the arches of my feet. The first 25-30 minutes of my sessions would be really awful and I'd want to take them off. But then after that, the next hour and a half, however long I was training, I had no issues. So that's just something to be aware about. And if you have wide feet, they did my wide feet just fine, so that is not an issue either. Now, number 3 on this list is the New Balance Furon V7 Pro. What's kind of neat about the Furon V7 Pro is even though it retails at $215 to $250-ish, you can often find them discounted in most sizes on really any major retailing soccer website. Now, that's not because this is a bad boot. I just think it's because not enough people know how good the New Balance Furon actually is on feet in the performance. Now, they do have a fairly aggressive sole plate. If you see here, every single stud is chevron shaped, which is actually the first time I've seen a sole plate where every single stud is the same shape, but I did wear them solely on turf. I wanna say 5 or 6 or maybe even 8 times, and I had no issues whatsoever, no snagging, no over gripping on the pitch or anything like that, so I wouldn't be worried at all about this sole plate, and honestly performed very well. Now, the V7 Pro actually has very good lockdown, and if you see here, it has this side lacing, burrito style stitching, and I really felt that the boot really stayed on my foot snug. I had no issues with slipping at all. And on top of it, it has this like 2-layered system where you have this knit upper underneath and then this hypo knit upper kind of wraps on top of that knit upper. So that was really, really nice. And this hypo knit material, I would argue rivals Kangolite. It's super, super soft. It's very plush. Anytime you hit a pass, get a touch, kill a ball out of the air, it's honestly perfect. And honestly, I didn't really have any major issues with this boot. I think it was a little bit tough on wide feet, but honestly, this is a boot I wore enough to break in, and once I broke it in, I had absolutely no issues. And with that, we're gonna move on to boot number 2 in our countdown, and that is the Adidas X Speedportal 99 gram leather remake. Now, these were rumored for about 3 to 4 months before they dropped, in which I think was February or March of 2023, and everything about them was just great, and I would argue they were the best speed boot from Adidas since leather F50s. That's how much I loved these when these came out. You had this really nice leather upper here, which was very, very plush and had all this extra stitching here, which really helps when it comes to durability. It also had little to no padding on the inside of the heel. You could slip your foot right in. It was great for wide feet. It had that really nice speed frame sole plate, and this is with speed frame sole plate when it still had the Carbitex insert, which some people argue is even better than the new one. So everything about this boot was just great and just perfect. Now, a downside to this boot was the price, and I want to say it retailed at $300 or $320. I couldn't find an exact price. And that kind of stunk a little bit, but if you could get over that, it's really worth buying these. And I want to say these are even more durable than the current Speedportals. I mean, everything about this boot was great. It's super lightweight, but at the same time, I saw no signs of ripping. There was no sole separation. And you know, it was just what we needed, just what Adidas should have been giving us all along. Although I love this leather upper, I wish the whole boot was leather, which would have been fairly hard to do. But if you can see here, this seam is triple stitched. And whenever you overstitch something or stitch something that much to really keep it together, you're gonna be able to feel that on the inside. And because I have wide feet, my feet are often expanding the boot and pressing on the outside, so I could really feel that extra little inseam there. And it wasn't super uncomfortable. It was just something you would notice for a while, and sometimes it would go away, sometimes it would come back. But as I really started to break in the boot, it lessened and lessened. Although, you know, it's one thing where I think if anything they could have improved of, maybe just put a little bit of padding in there or don't stitch it as much, but it's something I can ignore. Well, not actually ignore, but something I can push to the side just because of how well this boot actually was. So it was a really close toss-up between number 1 and number 2. And although I really liked the 99 gram leather Speedportal, this boot just felt a little bit better. And honestly, the thing that really got the Speedportal the second spot was just that inseam and that stitching. So without further ado, number 1 is the Adidas X Crazy Light Plus. Again, this is an expensive boot retailing at $300. Now, this was a limited edition pair, but if I hadn't worn these and had just worn the normal colorway or the launch colorway or whatever the new colorway that is that just dropped, that boot would still be number 1 because they're exact same boots minus the color. And this boot was everything that the Speedportal should have been and more. Now, this boot I would say rivals even the regular F50s or leather F50s as well. It was super comfortable. With someone who has wide feet, being able to just slip a boot on and not having to worry about pain, especially with the width and the hot spots and all the BS that comes with having wide feet and trying to fit in boots. These boots were amazing for that. And even though they were a speed boot, you wouldn't think that would be the case, but it was. And this upper really just kind of molds to your foot when you put it on. And you know, the lockdown is really great too. You do have these really thin tongues, but the thing about it is when you're going for boots so lightweight, sometimes you make sacrifices. And when you have like a paper mache tongue like this, you know, you'd often expect, well, maybe the lockdown's not gonna be the greatest, the tongue's gonna slip around, but no, that wasn't the case. Now, they do come with thicker and thinner laces. I kept the thin laces in. I would tighten these boots up, no problem whatsoever. There is kind of a few people having issues with the Crazy Fast Plus models and durability. Again, when you go with these super lightweight boots, that's something that's always gonna be a problem. And I even had a friend who had this exact colorway explode on him within 3 wears, so that's kind of a bummer. I haven't had any issues yet. I haven't even seen any signs of sole separation. I've just seen little bits of wear, if you can see them on the toes here. So normal wear that usually happens whenever you wear boots, regardless of what kind of boot they are. And again, it has that speed frame sole plate. It's not the Carbitex version, but I don't really think the Carbitex matters either way. It's personal preference, but it's just everything I wanted. It's everything I wanted except maybe if it was made of leather, but because I could put these on, had no issue, no pain, no problems at all really, they had to just slightly edge the leather Speedportals. And to be honest, I really hope we keep seeing this direction from Adidas of bringing the Crazy Fast Pluses and the 99 gram leather Speedportals, because it really just feels like we're going backwards, but also forwards, if that makes sense. Like, we're getting better and better in making boots after the Speedportal, because that one really sucked. But we're also still going back to the F50 vibes. And I think that's what everybody really wants. Nobody really likes all this new stuff. Anybody who's a true boot head, they all really like the old stuff. And so now that we're getting new boots, but it kind of is reminding us of the old stuff, I really appreciate that. And it's really nice to be able to get some of these old vibes back and just really enjoy wearing like Adidas X Speed boots again. That's all I have for you guys today, and I want to hear from you. What did you think of this list? Do you think I had everything right? Was I too biased to Adidas? You know, should Nike have been in there? In my opinion, it shouldn't have, because I hate the Superfly and the Mercurial right now. But nonetheless, it's my opinion, it's not fact, but I want to hear from you guys. And if you guys like this kind of video, or if you guys like reviews, please make sure to check out the rest of the channel, and you can see all the reviews and other kind of comparison videos that I've done so far. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next review.